Okay, good evening everyone. We will start today's debrief meeting. Okay, what we are seeing here on the screen is the S&P 500 index. Okay, and from what I've mentioned earlier is that from last week's video is that this S&P 500 has been on an uptrend. Okay, what we can see here is that last week there's some pullbacks, in the U.S. market. So, but last night U.S. market is positive again, with some of the big cap stocks moving upwards. All right, so most likely is still going to continue its upward trend. Okay, what we are seeing right now in the news flow is that there are more and more positive news coming out. The vaccine news, countries opening up, and relaxing of rules and such. Okay, so most likely we'll be starting to see this there are more uptrend to the US market. All right, this is the Dow Jones index. Okay, and what we are seeing here is also similar. Okay, it's trying to move upwards. Also last night there's a volume coming in, higher volume in the rally. And what we are seeing here is the Nasdaq. Okay, so similarly, after a deep pullback, and it's really back up, trying to make a new high. So in the U.S. market, considering from the March low, right, they are still the strongest market in the world. So as of the Europe, right, if we look at the German DAX, is making new high. Okay, so can also say that the euro is also recovering. All right, and whereas for Hang Seng is still trapped in consolidation, mainly because there is a spike in their COVID numbers the past 2 weeks, averaging about 100 cases per day. So recently, the past few days has dropped, roughly to about 80 plus cases, averaging for the past few days. Okay, so right now, as I've shown in the past few videos, is trading in this like a flat pattern kind of consolidation. Okay, so we just have to wait for it to finish its consolidation and break above this yellow line, this channel, to continue its trend upwards. Okay, so as for China, is still in consolidation. All right, mainly there is a lot of news or fighting or something between US and China, so it might come back again. Okay, so we just be mindful of that. Okay, so at this moment, looking at this, right, there's chance that it might start to go back up and test this resistance area here. Okay, so we like to see how this one turns out. And whereas the rest of the Asia market, Japan is still quite strong. Okay, trending upwards. We have our Vietnam market quite strong. Okay, compared to the rest. Okay, and so if we look at our Singapore, right, last week I mentioned that very likely we will be seeing a second rally. Okay, so for the past few days, market started to move up. Okay, and then we start to see in our Singapore news flow, right, that there will be there seems to be more and more good news, coming in. All right, so later I will share with that in a minute. So the gold, for the gold spot price, right, as I mentioned, it's still going to be in this flag pattern downtrend channel. So but most likely it might start to move up and test this upper channel. Okay, and if we look at the US dollar index, it's making new low. All right, so the US dollar is weakening. Okay, considering they have their unlimited QE policy. So if we look at their major trading partners, USD, Chinese yuan, we have mentioned that it's going to be a major downtrend, and so it's been downtrend for like 6 months really. Okay, and even for like USD, SGD is also on the downtrend for since March, when we have our circuit breaker started. It's been on a downtrend since then. Okay, so the US dollar I mean, for those who trade forex now, you can trade on these major trends. Okay. And one more thing to look at, because the economy is recovering. Uh, Crude oil seems to be also recovering. Okay, and we start to see some like contract completion, by Capricorn and such, for their oil and gas business. Okay, so you can see for the past few weeks the crude oil is been rallying. Okay, and so yeah, it's a show. It's a sign that the economy, the global economy, is all trying to recover. Okay, so right now we are all on a recovery mode, recovery rally and such. Okay, so the trend is on the upside. So for the Singapore market, similarly, we take a look at the banks. Okay, so DBS, since its past rally, right, a very big, nice rally previously, so it's been consolidating sideways for like almost a month. Okay, 3 weeks or so. Okay, as I've mentioned previously over here, sorry, last few videos, right, that we have consolidation or congestion zone over here, so it will also affect the this price area. Okay, between 25 to $26. Okay, so at the moment it's still consolidating, but we would just like to see how it can break off this. Okay, so for those who are still holding the bank stocks, your DBS or OCBC, I think we can still hold longer. So OCBC has performed better with compared to DBS today. Okay, so with this rally here. All right, so but nonetheless, it's still in a consolidation. So we'd like to see if we can carry on its rally upwards. So because of today's news, right? Or not just today. On Monday, we have our government talking about moving into phase 3 reopening, starting 28 December. Okay, so there will be lots of gatherings, more gatherings, more capacity for and such. So looking at this news, right, my first thought is that most of the so-called retail REITs is going to do better. Okay, because there'll be more people going to the malls, more people eating at restaurants. So some of the food companies, like what, kopitiam or jumbo or what, they might be seeing more businesses. All right, so those are positive signs. Okay, so therefore later we will take a look at some of those stocks. Okay, so now the main thing of this is that because of this opening, right, a good thing is Genting. Okay, more people will be going there. Recreation facilities will be open more to more capacity. Okay, so Genting had a huge rally. So I wonder why Monday's news, Wednesday today, that then it started to rally. Okay, so kind of like late for it to move. Okay, so but I wish that it didn't move lah, because I wanted to talk, because this is actually a very nice consolidation pattern. All right. So nonetheless, it's already rallied. Okay, so we like to see if is there any more consolidation, and then look for new opportunity to go long. Okay, so ultimately this one has like kind of a turn trend. Okay, these are very big gaps, very strong rally. Okay. And some stocks that have a strong rally in the past few weeks, past few days. This is SGX. Alright, SGX has two big rallies last week and this week. Okay, so SGX has mainly testing right now is a major resistance area. Okay, so looking at this with less volume in this consolidation. Okay, so there's chances of it to break up on the upside. Okay, last week I mentioned about CapitaLand being the most probable to move, over the next few days. Okay, so last week I've mentioned is roughly about here, 9 of December. Okay, so somewhere here. So thereafter, 2 days later, really broke off and rallied for the next 4 days. Okay, so at this moment, it's quite positive, but we want to see if we can pull back, and then you can look for a small trade for short-term traders. Okay, so I believe there'll still be more upside, since it's turning trend. Okay, so if we look at major resistance area, I would say here will be a major resistance area, about the 355. Okay, so a lot of people are being trapped here. So once they reach here, or if they have averaged down, right, roughly in this spot is where they will be like break even or have small profit. So people might be looking to escape lah. So in this region, so this will be a major resistance area. Okay, about 350. Okay, this is city development. Okay, at this moment is showing quite a nice consolidation pattern. So with today's positive move, I believe next few days should also be on the upside. Okay, okay. So Fraser's property, after this small little resistance, today managed to break above. Okay, so most likely is going to finish its consolidation soon, and then we will probably look in a manner whereby it might turn trend. Okay, or high chance of turning trend upwards. So that is Fraser property. So whereas for some of the stocks like Hong Kong Land doesn't show much promise after today's move. Okay, it actually made a new low, short-term new low on a high volume. Okay, so most likely it's going to consolidate further. Okay, and build a bigger base before it will turn trend. Okay, now today there's quite a lot of news. Mainly some of the few news, right? Singapore is to launch segregated lane for business travelers who will not be quarantined. Okay, and then there are also news whereby okay, they are starting this travel lane, business travel lane. They are also going to let in more travelers and even more shipping, to retain their air hub status. Okay, and then there is also this whereby new short stay facility at Connect at Changi. Basically, it's at Expo. Okay, so with all this news coming out today, a lot of stocks started to move. The whole market started to be quite positive. So SIA Engineering, firstly, on Monday already has a move. Okay, and today there's a carry on. So what it shows, I think there'll be more air travels happening. Okay, more maintenance to be done and such. And also, it started to turn positive for SIA Engineering, or started to turn up. Okay, so and if we look at most of Singaporean darling, SIA. Okay, so SIA is showing some positive sign. Okay, looking at this consolidation, there is a higher chance of it to move upwards, considering the more positive news flow coming in today. Okay, so now especially this short stay facility, if we look below, right, I think it's here. Okay, so this facility is basically led by Temasek. Okay, so the main thing that I'm looking here is this escort. Okay, because the rest are not really listed. So escort is the one that is being listed here. So that explains the reason why Escort had a move today. No, it actually past 2 days, or past 1 week already started already. Okay, the insiders, those people working at Changi or that who knows the news, already knew about this. Okay, so they already bought in, and then as it gets up on news, I think there's already some selling or profit taking happening. Okay, so nonetheless, it's still positive. Okay, this whole Connect at Changi is going to start roughly in February. 2 more months. Okay, so I think there's this expectation, probably not the coming earnings, but the next earnings roughly in April, May, right? They'll start to probably see more revenue coming in. Okay, so most likely it's going to turn up. Okay, so most likely it's going to test here, roughly about 115 or so. Or actually, this whole place is the resistance area or resistance zone. Okay, this whole band. Okay, so it might start to pull back, test here, pull back, test here, pull back, struggle a while, congestion, stay here for a while before it starts to move up. Okay, so is it this? Okay, so in this news that's mentioned here, facility operators interested in serving as a segregated facility, right, can submit their proposal. Okay, so as such, right, the rest of the hospitality also started to move. Okay, Far East hospitality after a pullback has begun to rally upwards. Okay, so one good thing is also because of the Orchard area, being nested in the Orchard area, it started to rally off first compared to the rest. Okay, so that's Far East. OUE commercial, because of this airport hotel, I believe they will also apply for use of their facilities. Okay, so there's a movement today, a bit sluggish. Bearing in mind is a REIT. Okay, historically is sluggish movement throughout. Okay, so this 43 cents will pose as a major resistance. And Suntec REIT. Okay, Suntec REIT, being this convention center is still being closed, so my guess is because of that piece of news, they might think of something to repurpose it, to reopen up and make use of its space. So there is some movement happening in the past 3 days. Okay, Maple Tree NAC. I've been talking about this for the past few weeks that it's going to move. But finally, I think after 3 weeks, then it started to move. All right, so today has a big rally. Okay, so moving up 3 cents. Okay, so with this, it's nice volume for the past 2 days. Okay, I would say. So, but it needs to bash through a few more resistance. This $1 and 104. Before it can safely say that it has turned trend upwards. Okay, so this is still a very positive news, positive move. Okay, so Sasia REIT, being its China retail. Okay, Sasia after its ex-dividend it kept down, and today also had a move. Okay. Okay, Capital Retail China Trust. Okay, given its new investment mandate, a lot of broking houses have given positive buy call on this stock. All right, so but I also, as mentioned today, most of the rights issues are deposited into the shareholders account. So yesterday already started to have some selling. Okay, and today there's some selling right at the top here. Okay, so most likely it's going to consolidate for a few more days and then thereafter resume its uptrend. Okay, with now approaching it's actually at its resistance area. Okay, so expects more selling and consolidation just below this, about 140. Okay, so thereafter we might be looking at most likely to break upwards. Okay, in the near future. Okay, Kaplan mentioned last week, right here. Okay, that is very positive. It tests this intermediate resistance and then pull back for a day and then rally again. Okay, so at the moment it's going to probably reach its next level of resistance, roughly about 222, 225. And I believe I saw some analysts talking about Capital Land, this CICT, right? A new target, buy target of about $2.50. Okay, so looking at that, um, I won't give my hopes up on 250, but if we look at somewhere around, I think 245. Okay, that's where I think, and there's the congestion area is coming. So 245, I think is probably it will be a major resistance. Okay, so at this moment, those who have bought this through either capital commercial, or buying this straight, we can still continue to hold this, okay, on a long-term basis. So at this moment, it's roughly about 4.2%. Bear in mind that we are in a COVID period. Okay, so previously I think some of them have bought here or even over here. Okay, you are running more like 4.7 to 5% yield, which I would say is good lah. No, buying from this capital mall. Okay, last week talk about Orchard area, probably going to have um more people, more shoppers, more traffic. Okay, mainly because I'm thinking that more and more expats are coming back into Singapore, or have already arrived in Singapore. Okay, so from what I've known from my insurance friends is that they have actually done a lot of expats insurance. So a lot are already resettled into Singapore, mainly because firstly Singapore is sound, political safe, and their COVID numbers are safe. Medically we are quite high tech, compared to the region. So I think a lot of expats have relocated into Singapore, and thus Orchard area I think is being given a boost. Okay, so this is Landis Reed. Okay, it's been rallying for the past 2 weeks. Talk about this last week here, and then now it's already continued to rally for one more week. So at this moment, it's testing its major, so-called major resistance. Okay, so if it does consolidate, if you like this stock, you can look for it to invest in this. If it comes back down roughly like 72 half or so, 72 half area. I mentioned that instead of going after land lease, we can go for Star Hill. Okay, for Ngee City. Alright, with Ngee City, Wisma Atria properties. Okay, so last week it haven't moved. Okay, but this week it already started to move. Nice rally, up a few cents. Okay, so most likely from here it might start to turn up. Okay, so Manulife REIT, okay, it has been trading very quietly, over the past few weeks. So from my experience, such case, right, is that it might just suddenly burst up, right, and move off. Like this, right, when you start to consolidate and be quiet, right, then suddenly just move off. It bursts off as a rally, just like that. So this has been consolidating very quietly, and volume started to come in. Okay, so those short-term traders, right, you should start to set your alert, like 75 half, 76 cents. If you trigger, you should take a look, and then probably if you want to trade it, you can trade this stock. Considering that when it has a burst move, right, it's actually quite big. Okay. Okay, going on to other stocks. Okay, first we look at AEM. The AEM has been consolidating quite nicely. I would say there seems to be a trend line running here. So with this trend line happening, this looks like it might start to turn up. Okay, if you were to break this downtrend line, probably roughly about 360 area. Okay, it might start to move or have some movement in this. Okay, so you can those who are interested in AEM or short-term trading, you can watch this over the next few days or next week. Okay, high P. High P. I think 2 weeks ago I mentioned about this. Is going to pull back. Probably look at 165 area to enter. So it did hit 165 and then rebounded back up and closed high at 181. Okay, and then thereafter it had a trading halt. Okay, so it's been trading halt for I think 2 days already. Okay, so I do not know what the news is. Okay, so trading halt usually 3 days, so most likely tomorrow last day they will come out with the news. So those with high P, right, you have to bear in mind when once the news come out, you have to watch this stock whether to hold or to sell and take profit. Okay, this is Venture. All right, Venture after consolidating for above this support, right, it had a bounce. All right, so this is quite a nice thing, I would say, and most likely it will not have a downtrend. Okay, most likely it's going to consolidate sideways or continue in this big fashion. It might retest this resistance. Okay, so we like to see how this one turns out. Okay, so at this moment, um, I don't have much hopes for. Not sorry, not much hope. Is I do not have high expectation of this. Firstly, because it's giving a half head and shoulder pattern. Okay, with this is a shoulder, this being the head, come back down, and then now if it comes back up, and then if this fails, right, if it does a head and shoulder pattern, most likely it's going to turn trend downwards. Okay, so but if you were to break above this, right, then I think it's a good sign, okay, and eventually break this, then it will no longer be a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, so this is 2113. UMS, previously someone asked about this. I mentioned about $1 being a good support area. So yeah, it retraced back, test $1 and then rebounded back up again to 105. So most likely I would say it will retest this, and then eventually will break above this, okay, to form an uptrend, considering the whole economy is recovering. So now on to some short-term trading. Hong Leong Asia seems positive. Okay, after this pullback, it has a strong rebound with volume. So you just have to wait for some nice consolidation and wait for the next run. Okay, Oceanus mentioned about this being the first area 2.1 cents. So it tests 2 days and then today have a nice rally back up. Okay, so you might want to hope hope if it can come back down to like 2223 area and then buy some or consolidate, accumulate some, for the long term. So overall, I think in the last results is giving quite a nice result overall, and then I think it's a new management, for this whole Oceanus program, and then they have I think doing some stake in some indoor agriculture farming. All right, so that's it's a big plus for them.